Okay, so this is the second part of the brew day that, well, after filling up the kettle and getting it ready, I now have to mill my grains. So the grain bill is, it is 11 pounds of 2-row, raw 2-row, 1 pound of caramel or caramel 60 from Breeze, and then from Breeze also 1.5 pounds of Bonlander Munich. I think that's Munich 1, the light Munich. So that's 13.5 pounds. I dumped it all into a very, let me see, sorry about the shakiness, into a big tub. And the reason why I did this, okay guys, is because I am wet conditioning my malt. What that does is these grains, when they come, they are dry as a bone, and they've been sitting. Here's a little secret that I do. I buy my grains and my kits whenever they're on sale. So I bought these a year ago in July of last year, 2017. These grains have been sitting for a year in boxes, and they've been sealed up. I also take them and put them into Ziploc like bags that you suck the air out with a vacuum. Those are usually used for like clothes and blankets and things like that you want to store. So I put the whole bag, everything inside this other bag, Ziploc it, and then suck out all the air with a vacuum. It then just gets that little bit of extra protection that I need without doing the whole fresh saver or food saver into little baggies and everything else and be a pain in the butt. So I sealed that all off. Now they're dry as a bone, okay? If I mill this, I get stuck sparges all the time with the Robobrew. With the 3-vessel back there, not one stuck sparge, never. But that thing's a pain in the butt to clean. It takes forever. So Robobrew, all in one, no problems. Clean that thing out. Shoot down with a hose, a brush, a toilet bowl brush that's clean that I just bought. You know, maybe if there's some schmutz on the bottom of it or burning, I can just throw in some, you know, heat it up to like 150 degrees and then just throw in some PBW, let it sit overnight and just wipe it right out. With this wet milling, what it does is it takes those really brittle husks and hulls and I moisten them by spraying them with a fine mist of water, and that then soaks the outside, makes the husk more pliable, so when it goes through the grain mill, the malt mill, it doesn't obliterate the husk. And now these will be light and fluffy, mostly still intact, and the malt inside will be cracked open, ready to be soaked and extract all the sugars and the starches and enzymes and whatever comes out of these bad boys to make your wort. So the way I did it, take a spray bottle. Well, first off, this thing was dirty, this tub. I cleaned it out, scrubbed it, rinsed it out really well. There's residual water left inside there because I'm not going to dry it because I'm going to throw grain in and get it wet. So I estimated about 2 ounces of water was in there, okay? About a quarter cup. I then threw in 13.5 pounds of grain, mixed it up with my hand, okay? It was still dry. I then took just below 20 ounces of, water in here. And let me get this straight. I'm down about, 13. So I used about 5 ounces of a fine mist. Ooh, almost got me. Fine mist on here and just mixed it with my hand. And just kept mixing until I felt like these started to get nice and wet. Okay? I'm letting them sit for about a half an hour to an hour. It smells amazing. And I can already see, like, they're getting kind of damp, but they're not too damp. You're better off, you're going to be milling them and sticking them in water, but you don't want all, you're going to be making flour and everything else when you crack open the inside. So you're better off spraying them down really well, getting it nice and wet on top, and then mixing it in, and then do that like 2 or 3 times. You get about, people are saying use 2 ounces to 3 ounces of water per 10 pounds. Just go until it's damp. Don't let it sit overnight, because then it'll start to, you know, extract and do crazy stuff. I don't even know really, but I wouldn't let it sit overnight. Let it sit for like an hour tops, 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half. Okay, right in there, sweet spot, while your stuff's coming up to a strike temp. Okay, and then mill them, throw them in. You should have a nice lauter bed, and you should be good to go. All right, we'll see how we're gonna put this bad boy on 1 setting, and we're gonna go. Give it a go. So this is full right here. We want to back off a hair and let it do its job. We'll see what the crush looks like after I'm done. All right, so moment of truth. First off, let me tell you guys, the drill, normally, when you're going, your hand might give a little kickback a little bit as it's going, because the grain is grabbing on into the rollers are grabbing onto the grain, and it's kind of kicking your hand a little bit. After wet conditioning, I saw a noticeable difference in how the drill was being moved around and like strained. It seemed like it was doing a lot of work. So let's see. Get a little love tap. Get all that goodness out of there. Let's see. Wow. Night and day. Wow. Look at how all those kernels are smushed up to almost a powder, but you have nearly intact rice hulls that have nothing in them. Look at that. It's fluffier. It's look at those hulls. They're all together. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna see how this. Hopefully, no stuck sparge to this time.